when you're looking for a wife, you can't just look based upon beauty. Yes, beauty is important. You want to be at least attracted to the woman that you're dealing with, but there's more to a woman than just how she looks. See, that's the trap. When you're too concerned with how big her bum is, you're too concerned with her figure, you're not concerned enough with her mind and how she thinks and is she loyal. You know, these different things will keep longevity and will give you peace in the end. Because if you go for a woman just based upon beauty, that's a sure way to reach hell. That's a good way to reach problems. Because a woman may look good out in the outside, but in the inside, she's full of game. She's full of, evil intent. So these things you have to pay attention to as well. And a lot of these men don't pay attention to that. They just deal with a woman based upon the fact, oh, she looks good. Her face looks nice. This looks nice. That looks nice. And then you find out, this guy is ready to off himself because he's been going through so much hell with this woman. That's not an intelligent decision. See, we have to start making constructive and intelligent decisions. All right? As a collective, black men have to start making more intelligent decisions. The music, the culture, the mindset teaches you to be more impulsive than to think rationally. And that's for everybody. But my focus right now is on the black man. This is what I'm focusing on. This is why I'm addressing you, black men. So when you're dealing with these women, you have to vet for these different qualities. One of the good qualities would be exclusivity. I say this all the time. The reason why men are not so caring towards women anymore, they really just don't care for them as much anymore, is because these women lack exclusivity. They're no longer exclusive. And social media plays a big part in that. Advertising himself on social media, things of that nature, those things are not exclusive, right? Which also ties in with loyalty. When something is yours, no one should be able to just use it or take advantage of it whenever they want. That should be an exclusive thing for you. And of course, you're not going to give permission for anyone to use your wife or your girl, unless you have a mental illness. But the bottom line is, that's not the facts. A real man is not going to allow that. So you have to get a woman that's what? That's exclusive, loyal. You want to get a woman that's submissive because you have the vision, you have the mindset. You need someone to help you on that mission and that mindset. A helpmate. Someone that's going to come in and fulfill the things that you need done while you're focusing on these things. That's why men always speak about how they want a woman that knows how to cook, knows how to clean, and so on and so forth, because those are things that you can not need to focus on while you focus on the more important things, the bigger goals, so on and so forth. And, there's more things that come with it. Those are just some baseline things, but you should be going in if you're looking for something serious. These are some of the things you should be looking for. Also a woman that is respectful. You don't want a woman that's accustomed to disrespecting you. And a lot of times you have to cut that off yourself. You have to make sure that you put your foot down and put an end to that as soon as you see it starting up. A lot of men don't do that. A lot of men don't put their foot down when they need to put their foot down, and it turns into a big problem. The big problem is just a small problem that got out of hand. But if you're putting your foot down and you're saying, listen, don't act like that, don't do that, don't say this, don't do this, and they continue to do that, then guess what? She's showing herself not to be worthy. So that's how you gauge certain things. And I'm only speaking about if you're looking for something serious. Now, a lot of you would deal with someone that's not serious and you won't even wear a rubber. That's not common sense. If you know it's not a serious thing, you shouldn't be going raw in someone that you know it's not serious with. Very rarely you should be dealing with those women, if at all, because you have to practice discipline. You have to practice discipline. And the main thing you have to discipline is the little head. That's a major feat for a man to tame the little head and to not let it control him. These are things that I've learned. You have to definitely tame that, and you'll be a lot better off when you do that. Some men can't go months without it, without using it. That's not good. Anything that you can't go a month or months without using, you're addicted to that. You see what I'm saying? And you can't be addicted to those things, because that can destroy you. That can put you down a dark path. Another thing to look for is that she has a cultural background that teaches women to be wives. That's very important. And of course, we're in a society where, we're all messed up because we weren't taught the right way. Men and women, especially women, we're not taught the right way. So, you have to have a level of grace. You have to kind of work with a woman. As long as she has the right mindset, you can work with her. Don't look for her to be perfect, because, that as human beings, perfection, that takes a lot of time, right? So, you're not looking for her to be perfect. You're looking for her to have the right mindset. Everything that I mentioned so far has nothing to do with beauty. You're better off with a 7 with the right mindset than a 10 with the wrong mindset. Okay? So those are some other things, a cultural background that teaches wifehood, because she already knows inherently, how to be a wife. She wants to be a wife. She wants to do these things. She's happy to do certain things that a lot of these women in the West would look at as degrading, as they'll have a problem with, they'll have an attitude doing it. You don't want that. That's not the right energy. Energy is important as well. Energy is important. Okay, when you deal with a woman and she's doing certain things to you, you want her to do it with the right energy. You don't want her to do it like she's doing it just to get to the next part. No, you want her to do it and put her emotions into it. You can use your imaginations and think about what I'm talking about, because on YouTube, I want to watch what I say for the algorithm say. That's why I'm kind of speaking in code. Like I said, beauty it comes into play, but that shouldn't be the main thing. That shouldn't be the thing that makes you fall in love with a woman. First of all, you shouldn't be falling in love with a woman, period. But that shouldn't be the thing that makes you infatuated with a woman. Is just based upon her beauty. That should be able to get her in the door, right? If she looks good enough, get her in the door. But then you got to see what other qualities she has besides the beauty. See, I've talked to beautiful women, and the qualities that they had outside of the beauty turned me off. It literally turned me off, and they see me being disinterested because the qualities outside of the beauty were not there. And the funny thing about it is after they see you disinterested, that's when they want to pursue you more. The quality was not there. So therefore, I disengaged. I was disinterested, because she has to have certain baseline qualities for you to take her seriously. And that's the point. That's the point. So you start thinking with your top head and not making beauty the main thing, you'll be better off. And with that, I'm out.